Well, folks, for gun owners like us who've been fighting all year to stop the Biden-Pelosi gun control agenda in Washington, D.C., it feels really good to get a win, and we have a big win to talk to you guys about today. Aaron Dorr here with Georgia Gun Owners. Guys, you know we've talked all fall about this, H.R. 4350. This was the National Defense Authorization Act. It is the military's budget for the upcoming fiscal year, and so because of that, it's a must-pass bill for obvious reasons. Now, when this bill first passed out of the House in late September, Nancy Pelosi put red flag gun seizures into this bill. Now, as you guys probably know about red flags, this would allow almost anybody, it could be an angry ex-spouse, it could be an angry old boyfriend, an angry old girlfriend, anybody could file these complaints against you, or in this case, a member of the military, and ask a judge to order their firearms to be confiscated. And of course, because this language contains ex parte provisions, that means in your absence, the judge in this case could consider the evidence against you, and you would have no idea there's a hearing underway that would impact your gun rights. That you could have your guns taken away from you having never been convicted of a crime. Now, if it happens to a civilian, it's already tragic and terrible and unconstitutional. But if it happens to a member of the military, not only would they lose their gun rights, they would very likely lose their job and be drummed out of the military, because if you can't possess a firearm, there's limited career opportunities, to say the least, in the military. That is the garbage that Nancy Pelosi put into H.R. 4350 when it passed the House in late September. But honestly, that's not a big surprise. We all know that Nancy Pelosi is an America-hating ghoul who wants to destroy our country. And so for her to push red flags is not a big shocker for obvious reasons. What was shocking, what was infuriating, was to see Republicans from the Georgia congressional delegation aid her in doing this. As we told you earlier this past in the fall, Rick Allen, Buddy Carter, Austin Scott, and Drew Ferguson, all four of these Republican congressmen, again, Rick Allen, Buddy Carter, Austin Scott, and Drew Ferguson, all voted to assist Nancy Pelosi in putting red flag gun seizures in the military. We spent a bunch of the fall urging you to contact your members of Congress, as well as Senators Warnock and Ossoff, telling them you don't want to see red flags in our military. And I'm happy to report that a couple of days ago, the final version of this legislation was passed and signed into law. And the number now is S1605, S1605. And this version does not contain any form of red flag gun seizures. And so your activism worked in a major way. In fact, our sources on Capitol Hill have told Georgia gun owners that within days of this vote happening in late September, House Republicans convened a meeting, and they basically said, what the hell were we thinking? What did we do? Why did we aid Pelosi and put red flags into the military? Because they were being inundated with calls and emails from angry gun owners, both here in Georgia and across the country. And so I want to thank you for all the action you took to help us shut this bill down. And obviously, Rick Allen, Buddy Carter, Scott, and Ferguson, they all saw the light because they felt the heat from the members of Georgia gun owners. A lot of times we get questions from people, and they'll say something to the effect of, does anybody read the emails that I send in to Washington, D.C., or in Atlanta for that matter? Do my petitions, do my phone calls, do these matter, or they simply just ignore what I'm telling them? And I know sometimes it feels like your action is ignored by politicians in D.C. in particular, but I want to assure you, and you can see it right here yourself firsthand, your actions matter, because these people still have to come back before us and get our support for their coming re-elections. And they know that gun owners in 2021 and 2022 are absolutely active in the fight for freedom, more than we have been in a very long time, because we have an absolute tyrant in the White House. So thank you for taking action. Thank you for helping us shut down H.R. 4350. And folks, if you have not yet renewed your membership in Georgia Gun Owners, now is the time. We have major fights coming up next year, both in Atlanta and in Washington, D.C. This may be the year. This may be the year that we finally pass constitutional carry. After all, Brian Kemp is in a primary, the fight of his life against David Perdue. And all of a sudden, Brian Kemp wants to be tough on guns. And we're going to use this dynamic to hopefully pass constitutional carry law next session in Atlanta. We have to also push for SAPA legislation and hold the line against federal gun control in Washington, D.C. So again, if you've not yet renewed your membership, hit the link below, get renewed, get signed up today. If you're not a member right now, go to joingggo.com, joingggo.com, and get signed up today. We're in the fight of our lives here, folks, and no national organization is going to win this fight for us. They'll take your money, but they'll leave us hanging high and dry in Atlanta for sure next session. So get involved in this fight. Thank you for your activism throughout this long calendar year, 2021. We'll keep you informed. Major fights ahead next year.